Hey guys, Kevin here for Fear the Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 3, Ouroboros, and I was really looking forward to this episode. I've really been enjoying the season so far. I think there have been a lot of things that this season has been doing right, such as expanding on the characters and creating a more interesting dynamic and things like that. But, and I also, you guys know, last week's episode, yes, it was kind of filler, but it also wasn't because it really did show, that they need to find somewhere that's safe. And I think they're starting to realize that there isn't as safe a place. And I was also really looking forward to this because I knew that Flight 462 was finally going to connect in this episode. I mean, we've been hearing about Flight 462 for a while. Ever since Fear the Walking Dead Season 1 ended, we've heard so much about it. And finally in this episode, it starts to connect, which I'm very happy about. And, I don't know if it was the post Game of Thrones and the fact that I watched this right after Game of Thrones, but I didn't find this episode particularly interesting. I thought this was a good episode, not a great episode. It wasn't bad by any means, but just for me, probably the one episode this season that's just kind of mediocre, honestly. I thought this episode was kind of mediocre. Let's just get into this episode, though, because I do really want to talk about it. I really do love the way the episode started, though, because it did get us introduced to these characters. You didn't have to see Flight 462 to understand these characters. We see disheveled survivors of Flight 462 struggle to survive at sea. Alex searches for Jake, who I'm guessing are, they're the two that actually survived on this plane crash, and she finds him with a badly injured face, unresponsive in the water, before being pulled onto a life raft, which, by the way, guys, I never watched Flight 462. Those little segments they did, I never watched them. I thought they were unnecessary. I thought they were boring. I just wasn't interested. But this episode basically forces you to be interested in that. And a man on the life raft has been bitten. So another hits him with a paddle, knocks him out of the raft. Later, she tends to Jake's face as the two men in the raft debate on whether or not it's worth helping him. And basically, they don't really know if they want to help this man or not because they don't know if he's infected and they don't know if he's really going to help them. So in the night, one man tries to kill Jake, but Alex stabs him in the throat and tosses him off the raft. The remaining man tries to convince Alex to do what is truly best for Jake. He wants Alex to put Jake out of his misery. Jake awakens, struggling to breathe, telling Alex that it's okay. And you're really wondering, is Alex actually going to kill Jake? Is she actually going to go through with doing this? Now, I thought this entire episode would focus on Alex and Jake. Now, I thought that could be interesting. The thing is, though, I really don't think it was necessary to connect Flight 462 to Fear the Walking Dead. It doesn't really change anything in the sense that we just add more characters. And you guys know one of the biggest problems with The Walking Dead right now is that we do have too many characters, and a lot of times it is very hard to focus on all of them. So, Fear the Walking Dead, though, is a fairly small ensemble, which is one of the reasons why I really do enjoy it. It's because it is small, and regardless of how you like the characters, they do get, all the characters really do get something to do every episode. Here, I really felt they just should have kept this separate, honestly. I really felt Flight 462 should have been its own thing, set in the same world, but just its own thing. And the second that Nick had that interaction, you knew it was going to connect into this, and it does, and we see Alex throughout a lot more of the episode. But unfortunately, the episode doesn't focus on Alex and Jake. I honestly thought the episode would focus on them, just the way it was done, but then, no, we do go back to Strand. We see avoid Abigail. Strand tries to call someone, but they're not answering. He hears some static and tells someone that he's coming, but he gets disconnected, and we don't know what that's about. Very interesting the way that was done. And of course, we know that there's something going on with Strand, and the shadiness with Strand definitely does continue in this episode because we know that he's hiding something, we just don't know what it is. So Travis lays in bed with Madison, troubled by everything that has happened. He and Madison start to make love in the bed, but are interrupted when the Abigail, it sounds like it's shutting down. We don't know why, but it sounds like it's shutting down, and that's obviously a problem. So later, Travis has a bunch of folders informing everyone that the machines cooling the engines aren't working, and they don't know why, but they're just not working, and Travis will go underwater and try to fix it. He dives beneath the boat in some scuba gear with a flashlight, and what he finds is the last remaining survivor on the life raft with Alex, and basically, this is how it connects. I understood that, obviously, Alex, is in a similar situation, but I don't know, Alex isn't particularly interesting. Yes, she kills, yes, she was in a plane crash, but for me, it just didn't really add anything that interesting to this episode. And I really thought that maybe it would add an interesting dynamic, but it doesn't really do much of anything in my opinion. So back in the Abigail, Travis and Strand try to work together to fix up some jammed up pipes of the ships. They smell awful. Travis claims they're backing up the whole intake. He'll have to put the walker out and then come back and continue his work inside. And Strand pushes him to hurry up and basically Obviously, Strand wants the boat to work. You can tell he wants the boat to work. We see a lot more of Ofelia in this episode, which I was happy about, because Ofelia, I think, has been the one character that we haven't really seen a lot of so far. Obviously, because she's been hurt, but we do get to see some really good scenes between her and, Daniel. Ofelia patches herself up. Her father barges in, questioning whether or not she's taking her antibiotics, because she needs to be taking this medicine. Obviously, she wants to get better. She's willing to ask Madison for some medicine, but Daniel insists that they will take care of themselves and they don't need Madison. He doesn't want people to know when they have problems. He just doesn't want them to know that. He feels like this is something they should keep to themselves, and I think it's very interesting that he doesn't want people to know they have problems. So Alicia runs around the dock calling for her mom. She hands her some binoculars and shows her that there are suitcases and other luggage on the shore, probably full of supplies, and in many ways this could be very useful to them because they have all this supplies and everything. Madison doesn't want to head that way, but Nick volunteers to go and others want to go with him. Here's my thing here. Why are they so quick to trust Alex and Jake? I don't understand. I don't understand how they were so quick to trust them, especially after the whole situation they dealt with last week. Why they trusted Alex and Jake right away, I just didn't understand why they would just be like, oh yeah, we can trust Alex. Nothing bad's going to come out of that. So Daniel offers to take them. The group ends up being Chris, Nick, Alicia, and Daniel. Nick and Ofelia still have some sort of connection, and Daniel let it slip that Strand has them on course for Mexico and informs only Madison. As we know, he did hear plans that's where they're planning on going, and this is the first time that Madison's ever heard this information. So he wants to approach Strand because she's more diplomatic than he is, which is true. I mean, Madison will handle things in a much more gentle way than Daniel. Well, Daniel's a very violent man, and yeah, he is very erratic. He is very violent. He is quick to kill, while Madison, on the other hand, can talk Strand through it, can get information in. I mean, she's just as assertive, and she, I think is a badass at points, the way she'll do anything for her family. But the biggest thing about Madison is that she really does have that calm nature to her, that she'll be able to talk to Strand and not make it seem like she's confronting him. So the lifeboat takes his, obviously, if Strand knows that he's being confronted, he's not going to admit what's going on, obviously. So the lifeboat takes off the shore. Daniel leads the way as he and the kids start their search through the wreckage. He orders everyone to fill their bags and come back, and Travis then heads back under the ship to dislodge the walker in its system. Madison watches them on shore before heading up and following Travis's bubbles. Chris acts suspiciously on land before heading away from the group by himself. Why he did this, I have no idea. I mean, this made no sense to me. Why Chris just go by himself? I mean, that should have been a clue. I mean, he knows that there's danger. I mean, I understand Chris isn't very smart, but come on. Like, why would you just go on by yourself? That's the one thing you can never do in these kind of shows. And I understand things aren't as bad as if you're The Walking Dead as they are in The Walking Dead yet, but knowing there are walkers in the water, knowing that there are things going on, I mean, I think Chris at least should have thought about this. He should not probably have gone on his own. It was not the best thing to do. I have no idea why he went on his own. It really does not make any sense to me why he decided to go on his own. So Madison continues watching, waiting for Travis. A massive amount of bubbles and bloody water erupt next to the boat. The dead body surfaces from one arm, a knife in his head, followed by Travis, and Nick then finds, which, crazy scene, by the way that was done. So Nick then finds a woman's hat, puts it on before giving it to Alicia. She tosses him a captain's shirt, and elsewhere Chris searches a big chunk of the fuselage, picking up a piece as a weapon. He cautiously goes inside, finds some undead passengers strapped into their chairs. He toys with them before beating them in the head. One man wakes up, he's still alive, asking for help, and now we do know that Chris was told to kill last week, like that character, I can't remember his name right now, but that family, the son did teach Chris how to kill, so Chris is definitely more aware, and I think more ready to kill than he was before, and I do like seeing that, but again, I don't understand what would possess him to just go off on his own. Why he thought this was a good idea, I have no idea. So this man is asking for help, but again, you don't know if this man is actually legit, if he actually does want to help, or if he has something else up his sleeve. But of course, he trusts him, and Madison then approaches Strand, asks him about Mexico. He tries to talk his way out of it, but she wants him to know where they're going. Strand reveals that he has supply, because obviously she wants to know, why are they going to Mexico? What's the point of this? And, where exactly are they headed? And Strand reveals that he has supplies in Baja. She asks him why he would lie and insists that her group is going with him. She tells him if he betrays her or her family, she'll throw him a reward. Strand replies that she's not a killer, that she doesn't kill. But I really think that is true, that she is going to do that. But Madison, as we know, is a big talker. I mean, we've never really seen her kill. We've seen her, talk down people. We've seen her, be assertive, but we haven't actually seen her kill, and that's something that I don't really know if Madison's capable of, and I think it's very interesting the way that Strand said, you're not a killer. Very interesting line, but serious, I mean, I don't know if Strand is serious or not. I'm hoping that this is the truth, that he actually does have these supplies, but that call still seems very shady to me, and I don't really know if that's what it is, that he has supplies in Baja. I mean, I remember exactly what he said on that call, but it seemed like really shady shit, and I really don't know if that's exactly what's going on, or if Strand is trying to cover up something bigger, which I really feel it's the latter, that that he is trying to cover up something, he just doesn't want them to know. So Daniel searches through some luggage as Nick approaches with his new shirt on and presents a blue button up to Daniel, and he says that it's bad luck to steal from the dead, you should not be joking about it, and Nick realizes that Daniel is looking for pills to help Ofelia and offers some of his knowledge, and you can really see that Nick and Ofelia really do seem like they're gonna bond and that they're definitely gonna get together. And as he explains, Daniel realizes that Chris is missing, goes searching for him, and obviously, Daniel does need these pills to help Ofelia, mainly because Ofelia, as we know, she's not doing well and he needs to help her. So, luckily, they do realize that Chris is MIA. Chris tries to help the man, still locking his seatbelt, and only makes things worse when the man falls from his chair, revealing that part of his spine is bulging out his back. Really crazy stuff, but the man wants Chris to kill him, and Chris tries to offer him water. He gets his weapon, prepares himself to kill the man, and does with a few blow to the head, and basically, it was a mercy killing. The man had to die. He was begging for mercy. Chris killed him, and I did like that Chris did follow through with killing this man, but obviously, he's now, obviously he doesn't want, it's kind of like a Liza situation where he doesn't want to come back as a walker, that kind of thing, and I think this is very interesting. So Daniel continues to search for Chris. Alicia and Nick still waiting around. Alicia's worried about how long they're taking and sets off to find them, but Chris holds her up when he finds a briefcase full of pharmaceuticals and basically thinks that they can use this for Ofelia. That must be the best thing to use. So Travis and Madison are below deck working on the ship's infiltration system. She tells Travis about Strand's place in Baja, and Travis is very skeptical. He doesn't really know if this is actually serious. He's saying that they are only going because they have no other option, not because they trust him. They don't really know where is safe, and, if Strand says it's safe, then maybe it's safe, but they just kind of want to just get away, because they don't really know. I mean, remember last week, they thought that beach house was a secure area, and it clearly wasn't. So, again, like I said, there really is no such thing as a secure, safe area, but I don't think they realize that yet. So Travis tells Madison that even though they're together, he doesn't know where they're going, and, that's a line that I really do love, that the family's together, they're all together, but they have no idea really where they're headed, and that's something that they all have in common. They have no idea really where this journey is going to take them, and they don't really know if what Strand is saying is the truth, which I think is very interesting. So Daniel's search continues. He finds Alex running down a hill, frantically yelling that they're coming. A massive herd of walkers come over the sandy hill. Travis draws his pistol, takes aim. Again, we completely forgot about Alex until this scene. I mean, I completely forgot about her, honestly. I forgot that she was introduced till we got to this scene again, and she contributed absolutely nothing. All she does is just add someone to be more afraid of walkers, and I don't really see what the point of her character is. For me, it just seemed like they started up 462, they wanted to connect it to this, and they just randomly put her character in here, and for me, she contributed absolutely nothing to the show. Now, had the episode focused more on Alex, I think it could have benefited the show, maybe, but focus more on her, have an entire episode around Alex. It could have been really cool the way they've done that. Some of the Walking Dead's best episodes are the single character focused episodes, and there are a few characters I think that can do that with, mainly Strand. I would love to get a Strand-centric episode. I think that would be amazing if they did that, but that's something I genuinely want for the season, is for them to do a single character focused episode, which is something that Fear the Walking Dead has yet to do. I know that Fear the Walking Dead is a family drama first and, a character show second, but, I do think that they might actually benefit from doing a single character focused episode. I think Alex kind of deserved that. I get that the entire 462 thing was around her, but again, this just felt very forced. I don't really feel like she needed to be here. She really didn't do much of anything. So Nick fills his bed. Here's a walker in the near distance. It's below him in the rocks, trapped in the sand, being eaten by crabs. Nick slips and falls down the hill, finds himself wrestling with the walker, eventually stabbing him in the head with a box cutter. Another walker stumbles down the hill, falls onto Nick. Probably some of the most intense walker killing we've found in this show. I mean, we had some really crazy stuff, of course, in the finale last year, but this was really crazy. Alicia searches for Chris around the fuselage. He tells her he was looking for supplies and he's okay. She seems a bit impressed that he actually killed one because she couldn't, and that's something I thought was very interesting about this scene, that, Alicia isn't killed. She's surprised that Chris actually does kill, and she's really impressed by that. And, I think we've been developing this relation between Alicia and Chris for a while. I see these two getting together. I really do. I mean, I don't see these, there's no way that these two aren't going to be together by the end of the season. That definitely is going to happen. I think these two are definitely going to start dating. I really do think that they take an interest in each other. And they have a lot to bond over as well. The way that they are, both grieving over things. They really do have a lot to bond over. So gunshots ring out. Daniel's taking out walkers. Madison and Travis here and ready to ship. And Alex, Daniel, Chris, and Alicia take on a massive herd on the beach. Travis reaches into an absolutely disgusting looking pipe to try and clear it out. It works, and power to the ship is restored. And Alicia then hacks walkers down with the rest of the group, but they find themselves cornered. Nick saves them, covered in blood. The walkers aren't attacking him, we see, which is interesting, of course, because he's covered in blood, so they think that he's a walker, as we know from The Walking Dead. So Nick walks up to the walker, stands face to face with it, even making growling sounds, which I thought was very interesting. Alicia calls for him. He rushes to her. She asks him if he's bit. He insists he's okay. They hop onto their little boat, flee the island, and I love that entire scene. All that walker stuff I thought was great. I love that they actually are killing these walkers. So Alex tells them they need to make a stop, and Strand looks on from the ship. Madison's eager to know if everyone's okay. Strand's frustrated that Alex and another are tagging along because, as we know, he doesn't want anyone else to join his boat, which again adds to the very shadiness of what's really going on there, because it's clear that, we know that the group has wanted to bring people on the boat to secure them, but it's clear that Strand doesn't want any more passengers, and I don't know if that's, because of the fact that he doesn't know if he can trust them, or if there really is more going on. I mean, Strand just seems very shady at this point. So the group reunites in the ship. Strand is not willing to let Alex on board. He just doesn't feel it's right to do. Plus, there's really nothing she's benefited them at all. I mean, what's really the point of saving her? Oh, her plane crashed. Who really cares? Honestly, I wish I cared about her. I just don't. So Madison reveals a plan to go to Mexico. Everyone starts to question it. Really not sure if it's actually going to happen. And they're quieted when Travis gets behind it. Alicia questions what will happen with Alex and Jake because they don't really know if they're going to stay with them, if they're just going to be there for a little bit, or if Strand's going to, cast them aside. Strand looks at Madison for help, but Alicia's ruthlessly pleading to take them on board. Travis suggests towing them at the very least and, basically just dropping them off somewhere safe, and that must be the best thing to do. So Strand tries to shut that down too, but Travis gets loud and insists. Strand walks off. Travis offers Alex food and water. Now, why is Strand, shutting down all their suggestions? I just don't understand. I mean, this is just kind of Strand, again, he's coming across as shady. I don't really know what's going on there. It's going to be very interesting, and, Travis then offers Alex food and water. Moments later, Alicia and Madison bring Alex water, towels, and some food. Alicia says it doesn't have to be this way, but Madison tells her this is the best she can do. They watch as Alex and Jake are distracted from the Abigail, and Strand paces in the control room. Nick and Ofelia sit on top of the ship. He presents her with the rosary he found earlier, and you can tell these two are definitely getting closer. Alex sits with Jake, tells him that every day will get a little bit promising, that this is the worst it's going to be, and that she really does have this hope that things are going to get better. And I thought that scene was good, but again, I would have benefited more if we just knew a bit more about her character. I get you need to watch 462, but I wish the show wouldn't have even brought her in. I feel like she just really not that interesting. There's nothing really that great about her. So Strand rushes to the back of the ship, cuts to Cord holding Alex and Jake's little boat, and that is how the episode ends. So overall, guys, pretty mediocre episode. I really did enjoy this episode. I thought there was some really good walker killing in this episode. I definitely really did enjoy that. It really was just Alex. I don't know what the point of bringing her in was. I don't understand. Was it to further the conflict of, oh, we're not letting anyone on this boat and, show how stubborn the family can be? I mean, we've already seen this is a very stubborn family. They don't take no for an answer. They're definitely one of those kind of families. And sometimes that can get very annoying, but I do think they're doing a good job of giving genuine reasons as to why they want to bring people on board, and also why they're not listening to Strand, because they don't 100% know if they can actually trust this guy. The more he speaks, the more I think shady he sounds. I mean, think of everything he's telling them. Oh, we're going to Mexico, we're going to Baja to get supplies, and then we're just going to stop there. Why Mexico? What's in Mexico? Why do they have supplies there? I mean, it sounds very shady. There's more going on. The fact that he doesn't want any passengers there. Everything this guy says is just very shady. And as much as I love Strand's character, and I think he is a very, he definitely is a badass, and he definitely is one of the ones that really does understand what's going on, I don't know if we can necessarily trust him. I think he's a very interesting character. I like the way they're heading that. I like seeing Chris more ready to kill. You can tell that he understands killing more. He's not afraid to kill. And in this sense, he will kill if he has to. Even though, I think that, deep down, he knows that obviously killing, that's something that they haven't done. He's now more ready to kill, and I think he understands now why Travis had to put down lies. I think he's really understanding that. The problem is we didn't really have a scene like that. That was something I was really hoping we get in this episode, was seeing Chris kind of grieve over Liza. We haven't seen that since episode 1, and that's something that just feels broken. It feels like we're missing something there, and it feels weird that we're not bringing it up all of a sudden. Madison and Strand. Strand said that she'll never kill him. Will Madison actually kill? I mean, that's very interesting what's going on there. If Madison's actually going to kill him, we'll have to see what happens with that. you can tell that Nick and Ofelia, they're definitely going to get close. I think that those two are definitely, they're going to get close. They're going to get together. I could definitely see those two getting together, as well as Alicia and Chris. I think those two are definitely going to get together. But as far as Alex goes, like I said, nothing that bad. There's nothing bad about Alex. I think she's an okay actress. There's just nothing that interesting about her. Wow, she was in a plane crash. Wow, she needs to hold out hope. That's like every single character on this show. I mean, there's nothing that interesting about her. And I get that that's kind of the point, that they just let some random stranger on there because they feel bad for her. And that Strand, basically sees her as useless to the group. I get that that's the point. I just feel they could have done more with her and they didn't, especially because they heavily promoted 462 as this huge thing. Like, they really wanted to be this huge thing. And as we know, now she's just here. It doesn't feel big. It feels like an afterthought. It feels like something they squeezed in. Let me give you a perfect example of that. You guys remember when they had the Knave on Once Upon a Time? Remember when they did that in season 4? Yes, first he felt very out of place. Eventually he very well fit into the narrative, but in season 4 he very much fell out of place, and that's very much the situation with Flight 462 now. Right now they have this character that they've introduced, and now I just don't think they know what to do with her. I mean, I don't really see what the point of her is. I know she's trying to hold out hope. I know that they're trying to figure out what to do with her. I know it really tests their trust with Strand, but I just don't really feel we need her. I really don't feel we need her. I feel like, it could have been anyone, really. We don't need Alex. I don't really see the point of her. Maybe as the show goes on, I'll be like, all right, now I like her more, but just this episode, I'm not set on her character. I'm not set on how I feel about her. For me, she's kind of just whatever at this point. I want to like Alex as a character. I'm just not latching on to her the way the show wants me to, unfortunately. And it's not, I think a problem with the way they developed their character. It's more just they've promoted Flight 462. They made it seem like it was going to be a big thing, and the character we have just isn't that interesting. And I'm one that actually does like the characters we're following. Is this really that great? Is this a great show? No. If anything, I think this is a show that has a lot of potential, and this season definitely is showing that potential, especially the scenes on the boat, things like that. There's a lot of things that, like the Walker killing was very well done this episode. I think they did a very good job of the Walker killing. I like that we had some actual Walker killing going on this episode. That's something I know a lot of people have said that the show tries to stray away from. But I do think the show does a very good job when it does get down and dirty with that subject, that no one really is safe. And I like that Alex is trying to keep in that hope. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, I thought this was not really, I wouldn't say a filler episode. It was definitely a transitional episode. But it really was a fairly mediocre episode. I really wanted to like it a lot more than I did. I think that Alex just kind of ruined it for me. It just felt weird that Alex was in there. But if you guys saw this episode, what do you think of Alex? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And we'll see you guys next week, which, guys, I know I am behind on Bates Motel. I know I'm going to review both episodes tonight, and then I will review tonight's episode. So 3 Bates Motel reviews tonight, without a doubt. That definitely is going to happen, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.